1 2 3 microphone check. 1 2 3 microphone check. Okay, it works now. Hello guys, and welcome to my channel QANSIGLIERE. Today I'm going to create a new JavaScript library to process PNG images. But at the beginning of this process, let me remind you that you have a great opportunity to ask me any questions directly. To do that, you just need to open my YouTube channel, click here to get access to all available links, and just click on the first link. It will open a new page with Google form where you can write your questions to me. And from my side, I'm going to review them and try to answer on them in the next videos. Let me start our session today from one but huge change. I decided to change my microphone, and I'm going to use this one microphone. It's called Sennheiser Profile, and I hope what sound with this new microphone will be nice and clear. Let me connect it and we can see the difference, I hope. Let me install it. Looks nice. Just few manipulations. Let me connect it to USB. And let me disconnect my old microphone. One, two, three. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. Do you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay, I need to check what is the source of microphone. One, two, three. One, two, three. Okay, it should be much better. All right, we can start our session. And my idea for this session is to create a new JavaScript library with several methods. Method number 1 will be responsible for comparing of two PNG images. It should show the difference between two images and provide for us information about how many pixels are different. Method number 2 will be responsible for search of RGB color for any specific provided pixel on the image. And method number 3 will be responsible to replace on the image some square just to remove some colors or some images from provided main image. Let's start do this new library, and today I'm going to use help from Chatgpt because it will help us to save a lot of time. Let's create a new GitHub project for this purpose. Let me open GitHub. Let me hide some wires from microphone. Okay, it should be better. And let's create a new repository. Let's press new one. Let's call it, let me check previous names. Okay. Image processing library. Okay. The main idea of this library to provide some functions to work with PNG images. Okay, it's public. Let's add readme. Let's add gitignore for Java, for Node.js. Okay, and license will be MIT. Let's create a new repository. And let's create a new epic. I keep all my work related to Consigliere channel here in Jira, because I think it is the best tool to keep and check the status of any process in engineering and especially in development process. Let's create a new epic. Let's call it image processing library. Let's assign me, no labels. Okay, let's create it. And we can add additional specific steps. Step number 1 is to create a new GitHub project. Step number 2 is create a new NPM package. Also, we need to add a README file, add a function to compare two images, add a function to define a color of any specific pixel on the image. Function number 3 is to add a function to replace some specific pixels. What else we can do here? We can add publish as a library and add DTS files. Okay, let's create a new GitHub project. Let's copy ticket number, let's move it in progress state, let's launch GitHub desktop app, and let's add existing repository, not this one. Let's clone repository, it should be here. Okay, let's clone it. Done. Let's create a new branch. Let's provide ticket name and let's provide ticket description. Let's create a new branch and let's open Visual Studio Code. Let's open new window and let's open the folder with new library. Done. Okay, what is next? I have some prepared files, images, to compare them in the future. Let me upload them. Let's find them. Image. Okay. First of all, I have base 64 string with the image. Base 64 txt file. Let me copy it and paste. Done. Rename JS. Done. And also I have a few images which should be compared in the future. Let me download them. Okay. Let me open the folder with this project. And let me open images. Let's sort them by name, and we are ready to work. So we have a project. This project should have gitignore file. It's done. Also, I prefer to use prettier to format the code in Javascript. Let's paste already prepared settings for prettier from previous projects. Now let's copy the script config file and let's copy GitHub folder with information for a case if somebody will decide to support this project. What else? Gitignore packages. Okay, I think for first main step it's enough. Let's add this file to gitignore. Okay, and let's commit changes. Done. Let me check the sound from this new microphone. I like it. I really like it more than previous microphone. Alright, so we synchronize changes with GitHub repository and we can merge them. Let me open this new branch. Let me change some additional settings in the here sponsorship projects, remove and let's image to the social preview, desktop, okay. Not this one, too much images. Okay, design done. Okay, and we are ready to merge the first changes. Let's add title. Okay, create pull request, merge changes. Okay, this one step is completed. Can refresh. Alright, perfect. The main and difficult step is completed. Now we can move to the step number 2. Just prepare some settings to publish this library in the future in NPM.js file, NPM.js website. Let's move it to in progress. Let's add it to the sprint and let's copy its number. It's JS 332. Let's create a new branch. Let's provide its name. Create a new NPM package. Done. Let me synchronize the current branch. And let me remember what we should do. Probably we should write npm init. Package name QANSIGLIERE image processing library. Version is 001. Description. The main idea is to provide a set of methods for image processing. Okay, entry point. Entry point is index.js. Test command skip git repository. Git repository. Okay. Keywords Java, QANSIGLIERE, JavaScript, JS, PNG, image processing, compare. I think that's enough for this. After is me. License is MIT and yes. Okay, as you can see, we created a package.json file. Let's check it. QANSIGLIERE image processing library. The main idea of this library created in JavaScript is to provide a ready-made set of methods for image processing. A link for Git. Okay. Now we can provide some additional information for README file. Okay, let's copy some information from here. Okay, after okay, let's remove these lines. Let's use this one link. Improvements and suggestions, related videos. And just share the current one video live. Let's paste it here and here. Okay, this one step is completed too. Alright, and we can move next one step. We have explanation for this library. We have some test files. Now we can start working on the library itself. For this purpose, we will create two files. File number one is index.js. And let's create a new folder. Let's call it lib. And let's call it let's rename it to library. And add new file. Call it library.js. This one library will contain all required methods to work with images. Let's save them. And I think for current step it also is enough. So let's save it. We have index.js, we have library.js, we have package with configuration, and we have readme file. We can push these changes. All right. Okay, this one step is also completed. This one step is completed. Let me refresh changes and close related ticket. Done. Now we can do to the best part of this video. We'll start working on method itself and a function to compare to images. Let's start working on this one. Let's create a new branch. Let's copy its name and publish these changes. All right, and let's work. So first method will be responsible for image creation based on base64 information, where we need to use it. For instance, yesterday I faced interesting moment in Appium JavaScript library. When you create a screenshot of the whole screen of the mobile phone, it will be saved as base64 string. And our main idea for today, for right now, is to create a function to convert base64 string to the image. Let's do it. Let's do it. We have base64 string. Let's copy it. We'll put it in the index for testing, and this one file can be removed. Alright, let's work on the library itself. Let's make a function. Save base64 as image. We have base64 string, and we have full path to file. Both parameters are string. What we should do in this case? For this purpose, to implement this function, we need to connect fs JavaScript library to work with file system. Let's do it. Constant fs require fs, and what we should do? We already have image as a base64 string. We need to save this information as an image. Let's do it. Let's do fs write file, full path to the file, base64 string, and do encoding as base64. And let's check our method. Let's export it. Model exports, save as save base64, and here let's do some import. Let's do var save require library save base64 as image, and do the same stuff here. Model export. Okay, now let's do some kind of testing. Let's copy this string and let's apply our function save png, and let's save it here. png image png save. Let's check our method. Let's do node index.js error. Must be function base save base. Let me disconnect TypeScript for now, and let me check again. Invalid argument. CB arguments must be of type function. Received an instance of object. It is an interesting issue. Let me remove it, and let me double check show more. Okay, where is an issue? Issue can be in the JavaScript method encoding. full path to file, base 64 string, encoding method. Let's do fs read file sync path, full path to the file, and let's check it again. No, the same error. I see such error in the first time and I'm a little bit surprised. Seems first program, it seems like the script you wanted isn't named up. And name your script GS start debugging node. Okay, what is wrong here? Index package JSON library prettier. Let me restart the terminal. Node index.js. Function save model exports. Save and save. Okay, let's check it in such way. Node library. Let me close Visual Studio Code. Maybe something's wrong with Visual Studio. Let's run it now. And let's run terminal window again. cb library line number 4. Let's remove this one parameter. write file path full path string is base 64 and encoding is base 64. Save. Let's test it again. Invalid argument type. That's nice. Let me check parameters in package JSON file. Version, main, keywords. Okay, what is wrong with you? Initially, I thought it will not take too much time, but I faced some surprise from JavaScript today, and I have no idea what is wrong. Let's remove encoding part and let's start debugging. Data string. Okay, encoding base64. Okay, let's do it in another way. Let's ask Chatgpt. Okay, let's do in such way. File saved. Okay, we fixed it. It's very strange because in my previous library it worked well. But anyway, problem is saved. Let's improve console log message. And now we can move to another one method. Let's copy it. Let's remove comments from here. Let's paste it here and let's do it in such way, and let's apply node to index. Alright, image is saved. And where is an image? It's here. Okay, it's done. We created the first method to create a new PNG file based on base64 string. Now we can move to another one goal. To main one goal is to compare two PNG images. For this purpose, I'm going to use pixel match library. It's very popular library and it has ability to highlight a difference between two images. Let me show how it works. You just connect this library to your project and provide two images. Main rule: both images should have the same resolution. We have expected image, we have actual image, and pixel match first of all provide to you information about how many pixels are different. Plus it generates a new third one image with difference. It's very nice and it can be useful in the case if you need to compare two very similar images, but you expect what very is some small difference. Let's do it. To connect this library to our project, we need to do next step. First of all, let's install this library. Let's do such command npm install pixel match. Now this library is connected to our library. Now we need to implement a function which will compare two images. For this purpose, we will use also png.js library. It's very powerful library in case if you want to work with PNG images through JavaScript. And what we are going to do, we just copy and paste this code. Yep, that's right. This library already have great embedded opportunity to compare two images. Let's do this stuff. Let's do new function, compare two images, image 1 path, image path 1, image path 2, and let's paste the code from this library. First of all, let's import fs library. It's already done, and we need to switch this library to a model. Let me double check how it was implemented, because I didn't do it before. They should have type model. Name, version, type, yeah, that's true. Let's copy it and convert it to ES model. Let's do it. Let's do changing package.json. Now we need to do over import save from and model exports export default. It's a tricky moment because I didn't work with models and I do not know specific methods where, for instance, if we need to export some function, we do export default function. Okay, export default function. So let's save it here. Let's open image library and let's do import fs from fs. Okay, export default, export default. Let's remove this information. Let's fix issue here. Okay, we have two images. We have image 1, image 2. What we do, we receive information about where to find two images. We get from image 1 information about its resolution, and we generate a third one image with difference based on width and height from imported images. And this function returns to us information about how many pixels are different, and this one file, it generates a file with difference. What we are going to do in this case, let's check. Okay, this one function already has embedded function to compare resolution of images, and it will return an error. Great. So we can skip validation step, but I would install those NPM UUID library. Okay. And let's reuse its method here. Okay. What we are going to do? Path to the difference folder, and here we will use few parameters. First of all, let div file name equal to UUID v4, right? Step number 1 is create a name for the file. Step number 2 is to create a file with difference itself. Let's replace this one to path to the difference folder slash div file name dot png, save, and let number of different pixels is here, and return okay, and last one step, console log the file with difference can be found here, and let's copy this one stuff. Done. Let's save it. Sorry. Format document with prettier. That's it. How to export functions in ES model. Okay, export function. Okay, let's do it. Okay, it's saved, and let's check our method. Let's also import compare to images, and let's do some test. Console log compare to images, and let's provide the path for image 1, not this one. Okay, let's copy this one, image, And let's copy this one image. Save. And let's check node index.js. Come on, what is wrong? Cannot find model. And let's change it. We didn't provide the path for file. Understood. Package library, and let's provide the path. Let's do it in the current one folder. Save. The difference is in 300 and 1000 of pixels, and as you can see, a new image is created, but it is wrong. Let's double check it one more time. Here we have two images, 1 and 2. Much better. Here you can see the difference between these two images, and difference is marked in red. So now we have ability to compare two different images. For instance, we can compare this one image and this one image, and the difference will be highlighted in such way. Not bad. Actually, it's not bad. Let's delete it. Let's compare two simple images, login and sign up buttons. Let's press L1 and 2. Current one, save. Cool, it works. It just compared two buttons, login and sign up, and the difference is here. I like it. I very like it. Okay, what is next in our goal? We have two functions, right? We have two functions. Let's create an explanation for them in README file. Function number 1 is about save. It allows us to save a base 64 string as a PNG image. It compares two different or similar PNG images with the same resolution, generates a file with different pixels and returns a number of the different pixels. It's nice. It's nice, and I think we can complete this one task. GS 336, push to origin, switch to main, close this one, page, merge changes, create pull request, merge it. Let's create a new version, new release, 001, 001, create a new tag, push release, and let's publish it in NPM.js website. Let me find it. Okay, let's do it. NPM publish. Let's do some small changes. Let's add in git ignore any PNG files. Where is git ignore? PNG is the same with PNG save. Okay, let's publish it, the first version. Let's write npm publish, press enter, and let's provide a code. Sure, let me change the font. Done. Okay, we can complete this one task. Now we need to create the second one, general method. This method will be responsible to define an RGB color for any provided pixel from the image. So let's copy ticket name. Let's create a new branch. Let's provide a branch name. Okay. Let's do some small changes in git ignore. Okay, let's save it. Okay, what is next? Next goal is to create a function to define a pixel color by provided coordinates. And how we are going to do it? Let's create a new function. Export function define pixel color. Coordinate x, coordinate y, and path to image. Okay, define pixel color. Where is index? Okay, let's do it. We already streamed about 1 hour, so let's use some help from Chatgpt. How to define a pixel color from PNG image in Node.js. Code is 0 pixel and export RGB values of any pixel. Install NPM.js. It's already used. Get pixel color PNG image x, y. Okay, let's save your and my time and let's reuse provided method. Let's Okay, let's change it. Okay, let's do let png equal to path to image fs file read file from path to image. Define pixel hour in the same function. Okay. What we can do here, we use file system library, we use png.js library, we read file and take each one pixel, plus we validate what provided coordinates are inside of the image and we do not exceed its bounds, and we define its color. It's interesting. Okay, let's do it in such way. Get pixel color. Let's remove it. So first of all, we need to get coordinates. We need to get a path to image, and we can do fs read file create read stream path to file, and we do pipe new png parse it, and we do function. We do validation if x width is if x is more or equal than this width. Pixel coordinates out of bounds. Okay, let's calculate index in the data buffer. 4 bytes per pixel. RGBA. Alright, let's use constant id x equal to this width multiply on y plus x and k. Const r is with data idx. Const g with data is idx plus 1 and const b with data is idx plus 2 and return RGB. Let's try get pixel image by coordinates. For instance, we have such image. Let's copy path and let's provide coordinates. X, Y. Let's do testing. Parsed function. Okay. Color is undefined. Okay, it works. Now we need to define the way how to save its results. Let's use maybe resolve method. Let's copy it. Let's try to rewrite it in without async. Let's check. Okay, this one method is completed. And last one. Can you rewrite this method to replace some rectangles in the image? Okay, let's remove this one code. Let's commit changes. Free7, publish, main. Wait a minute. I forgot to change package version. example of any specific pixel for the provided image. Okay, and let's do GS 337. That's done. Let's commit changes, approve merge request. Create a new version. NPM publish. Okay. It is published, and we can do our last step. Last one, final step, is to add a function to replace some specific pixels. Let's do it. I think it will not take too much time, but it can be profitable. Alright, let's copy this function. Export. Okay, and what we do, let's test it. Replace rectangles. For this one, element, output path is 3PNG, and rectangles X, Y. It should work. It works. So technically we can close some parts of the screen in the future, and it will help us to avoid some issues. That's amazing. Let's very, very amazing, and we do it just in few seconds. I'm shocked. But for today our work is done. We can remove all images. We can change package version, and we can add explanation for the function. Okay. Let's install GS. Okay, let's install it. Let's paste tsconfig. Okay, let's publish it. GS338 push main. Let's close it. Let's approve merge request. Okay, let's create a new release. free, create, publish, refresh. NPM publish. Okay, and it should be it. We are done. We created a new library written on JavaScript programming language. Plus, right now it supports TypeScript. And by using this library, you guys can compare images. You can define color for any pixel on the image, and you can replace some parts of the images by provided color. I think it's amazing. What about you guys? Feel free to share your opinion in the comments. Feel free to like this video, and see you in the next time. Have a great week, guys. Bye.